Hi, Javon. Uh,
What's up?
just wanted to ask you, what do you think is the biggest difference in your defense, the Eagles' defense, this time than it was against the Cowboys the first time around?
I just think we really grew as a defense from earlier in the season. I think we really didn't know what our identity was on defense, and still trying to learn some of the plays and being able to play different techniques. So I think this time around, as the season progressed, we just been working and getting better at what we do.
If I could just follow up, what is the defense's identity, would you say? Thanks.
I mean, we we got a little bit of everything. One thing we just we pride ourselves to getting to the ball and having everybody all 11 players wrapping up and trying to make a tackle on the ball.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Josh.
Hey, Javon, in the 2 years that you've been with Josh Sweat, like where have you seen him grow the most as far as, getting after the passer and everything like that?
I mean, I think with Sweat it's just I mean some of his moves you just see it every day in practice. Him working on maybe a spin move or his cross chop or just his stab. He got I mean he got God given gifts with his speed and his size. So he just come to work and practice his moves every day. And I just been seeing him get better over time with what to do in certain situations and how people playing them.
Go ahead, Josh, and then Dave.
Yeah, Javon, I guess I have two questions. The first being, with Fletcher being, in protocol right now, are there any extra precautions that yourself or the other guys on the defensive lineman room or really on the team that you guys are doing right now?
I don't think there's really any extras. We know we live by next man up, and everybody's just preparing like it's a normal week, and getting ready for the Cowboys.
For sure, I appreciate it. And then my other question is, the team released a video yesterday of Jalen Hurts breaking down the huddle post game after the win. As his teammate, I know he's on the other side of the ball, but how have you seen him progress as a leader? In those moments. I think the Cowboys game was the first time he ever broke down the huddle pregame, and now here we are where he's breaking the team down post game.
I mean, Jalen just like you say, he's just been growing since I've been here, starting with last year. But he just that type of guy. Really got a real smooth demeanor. Never really see him out of whack, even when things going bad. So he's just somebody that we can look to and feel comfortable about when we in tough situations that we gonna get things rolling.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Zach.
Hey, Javon, going to take you back here a little bit. In your rookie season, I know you guys went on a playoff run in Pittsburgh. Do you remember what that was like being a rookie going into the playoffs and how different it was than the regular season?
I mean, it's been a while for me actually, but it's just I just know playoff football is a different type of speed. You can't make too many. You can't make the same mistake. You really can't make any mistakes because it's just really a tight margin for error. And like I said, it's just the speed gonna go up, and you just gotta be. You can't start slow. You gotta play consistently.
Are those things you relay to your younger teammates that haven't been in the playoffs before?
Oh, most definitely. Like it's a different mode right now. The regular season about to be over with, and if we're gonna do this thing, we just gotta come prepared and play a little faster.
Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Javon, if given the option, would you rather play this weekend and try to maintain the momentum or get the rest and kind of rest your body for the playoffs?
Man, I love to play football, so anytime I can try to get a sack, I'm gonna go forward or get TFLs or tackles. So of course I love to play. I love to play.
We have time for one more, so go ahead, Bo.
Hey, Giovanni, I'll ask you about the T-shirt that you're wearing. What does the program that the Eagles announced yesterday? What does it mean to you?
I mean, it's big. Gun violence is big around the world, and definitely big in Philadelphia. So we feel strongly about it. Just being able for kids just to go outside and play without even having to worry about shootings and things like that. we just, encourage to stop the gun violence.
Were you involved in the process at all?
No, but it's something they brought to all our attentions this week. So we very involved in it right now.
Hey, Jordan. Take us through sort of making the playoffs, what it means to you, and is there anything you can point to when you look back at that 2-5 start and being able to finish it up and clinching?
Obviously making the playoffs is a big deal, and especially for me, starting my first year and playing with the guys on the line and the rest of my teammates, it's such a special feeling when you have bought into the system, the process that your head coach and your coaches are implementing. And so for us, when we look back at that 2-5 start, we knew we were going to go somewhere. We knew the weapons we had on our team. We understood the process, but trusting in the process was that next step that we had to take. And once we started trusting in the process and listening to the coaches and, going through the details and making sure that we weren't repeat offenders and making the same mistakes over and over again and holding each other accountable, that's when the ball started rolling. And so, everybody said we got off to a slow start, but we understood, the weapons and the assets that we had in our team. So we were more than confident moving forward that we knew what we had. We just had to make it click. And, towards the end of the season, the ball started rolling.
Go ahead, Ed, and then EJ.
Hey, Jordan. Just want to ask you about this weekend's game. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot at stake other than playoff seeding. But what does it mean to you? This game against Dallas.
Every game's important, especially those Dallas games. We have to take every week like we're playing for the Super Bowl, and so our preparation isn't changing. Our process isn't changing. As sure as hell, my process isn't changing. I'm preparing like every week, every other week that I've been doing. So, for us, it doesn't matter that we've clinched a playoff berth. We're going to go out there and play our best football.
Go ahead, EJ, and then Mike.
Hey, Jordan. Between Landon, Jalen, Devontae, Stout, you're kind of surrounded by Alabama people. I'm wondering if there's any commonality you notice between those guys. If you can sort of sense that influence when you're around those guys.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think the attention to detail, those guys just love ball. They love talking about ball. They love being around the ball. Anything to do with ball, they're all for it, man, So it's kind of nice being around those guys who are going to hold you accountable because all they want to talk about is how to get better, how to apply the right technique and just keep winning games, keeping the same detailed discipline.
Have they rubbed off on you enough that you have a vested interest in the national championship game now?
No chance.
Go ahead,
No
Mike,
chance.
and then Jack.
Hey, Jordan. What do you like about combo, or I guess Stoutland calls it mate blocking with Landon so far this season?
I think just the pure strength that we both have when we're able to connect on the mate blocks. It's evident that we're really powerful individually, and so when you can get two guys who are equally powerful and strong to execute a mate block, it's so much fun when you get to move somebody against his will, and that they don't like it. You can hear them mid block, and so yeah, it's really fun hitting those B blocks with Landon.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Dave.
Jordan, we've seen Jason Kelsey get emotional a few times with us. And then I guess they released the video of a couple weeks ago where he got emotional, talk about his what he's overcome, and we know what you've overcome. So is it like a cry fest sometimes in the O-line room ever? Like when you see someone else open up that way, does that make you more inclined to yourself to be open with your emotions?
Yeah. Somebody as strong as Kelsey and the leadership that he holds in that group and in the team, for me, I've always felt confident in myself to, cry and be myself, let my emotions, run wild, or not run wild, but you know what I mean, let myself feel the emotions. And so when you see your captain and one of the strongest leaders in the room, be able to share his emotion. It does open the gate, for people who may not feel comfortable to let their emotions out. So kudos to Jason for being a great leader. He's taught me a lot, and especially in that aspect of being passionate for the game. It all comes from how bad you want it, and it's one thing I've learned from Kelsey. Go out there and play, give it your all, play with passion, play with heart, and win or lose, can you look at yourself in the mirror and say you gave everything you got?
Steve and then Zach.
Hey, Jordan, since you've been playing and starting next to Landon for a while now, how much has your relationship with him grown?
It's great. It's blossomed. It's blossomed. I'll keep the plant analogies. It's blossomed, mate. He's just, I think, when you play next to somebody new, you kind of have to figure out the level of, I guess, just being on the same level. And for us, I think it just came natural, just of the type of personalities that we have. And I love to get better every day and just being disciplined professionals. And so, every week in and out, the communication was always there so we could elevate each other's game and make sure that we weren't off levels. So, I say kudos to Landon as well, because he put in a lot of hard work and was holding me accountable, and so was I. So, I think it was just a great relationship that we had, and we were able to carry it through the rest of the season.
If I can follow up real quick, sorry, Ali. Did you realize you worked so well with him before you started to play on the same side?
Oh yeah, just from his personality, I knew we were going to get along. Y'all know Landon's personalities. I mean, I knew straight away from that overall stint he pulled in the preseason it was going to be a long year with him. So,
All right, we have time for one more, and then we'll get Anthony Harris. So go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Jordan, if I can follow up about Kelsey, what's your best Jason Kelsey story from over the years?
Man, I got to think about it. There's so many. There's so many stories. Trying to think of a good one. Yeah, I can't think of one right now. Can't think of one. Nothing I can repeat, because it's hilarious. He's a great guy, and a great teammate, and so all those memories that we share in the locker room will stay in the locker room.
Hey, Anthony. I wanted to ask you, back when you guys were 2-5 and everything, a lot of other guys have said, they kept believing in it and everything like that. I was wondering what it specifically is it about, Nick Sirianni that kind of kept you guys invested, kept you guys believing that things would turn around?
I mean, I think it's just the way we approach each day, with the level of detail that we discuss in the meetings on, how to get better. Not just talking about it, but, pointing out different ways, whether it's through film, videos about how we can actually do that. And then once we start making those efforts and continue to focus on that, and we start to see the little gains, just continue to try to build on that momentum, and believing that, over time, those small gains can add up and create big change.
Go ahead, Rob, and then John.
Anthony, just wanted to ask you about the Inspire Change Weekend and your team's involvement with the End Gun Violence movement in Philadelphia, how that came about, and what kind of changes you're hoping to make.
Yeah, ultimately just, here in the organization between players, and the organization just wanting to use our platform in a positive way, taking advantage of, a bunch of people getting together, having open dialogue about what's going on outside of football as well, out here in our community, and then just trying to find ways to make change or help impact that. And one of the ways was, taking a look at what's going on in the city with the gun violence, and trying to figure out a way how we can be supportive and help other organizations or other parts of the community around the city that are already trying to make efforts and make impacts. So really just trying to be supportive in there and help use our platform to echo a message that's very important about saving lives, coming together, everyone, doing what they can to help make change.
Go ahead, John, and then Josh.
Hey, Ant. Can you kind of take us through Rod's interception against Washington? Looked like you undercut the route. JG kind of mentioned that, and then just from a larger perspective, the reunion with you and Rodney and ending up with a playoff berth and what that means to you.
Yeah, particularly on that play, they're making a drive. We understand from a defensive standpoint, we can't let them in the end zone. And ultimately, we're looking to, take the ball away as fast as possible, whether that be, hold them all 4 downs, keep them out of the end zone, or creating a turnover. So that particular play, they came over, got in a bunch. We communicated what we need to do from the back end standpoint. I ended up on the tight end, just tried to read the stem. Once I determined that he was going over, it was ultimately, knowing that was probably his primary read, just trying to undercut it to make a play. He placed the ball very high and outside where, I felt like it was going to sail. So I just tried to, put myself between the ball and the receiver and make it a tough throw. The ball sailed, and Rod did a good job of reading the quarterback, breaking on the throw, and then doing an excellent job of getting underneath the pass for the interception. So once I seen him dive and I heard the crowd erupt, turned around, saw him doing his celebration with his arms in the air, I knew that he for sure caught it, and it was just a relief. So just looking at his journey, what he's been able to do on the field, facing injury, coming back, battling this offseason, staying focused, and me just trying to be there the entire way to continue to encourage him, to continue to just push him. To see him have that moment and clinch the playoff spot was huge.
Go ahead, Josh, and then Zach.
Hey, Ann, I was going to ask about Rodney's interception, but I guess I'll just could I follow up on the End Philly gun violence campaign? As someone who put it together, I guess what was the reception earlier in the week as more of the team who wasn't on the leadership council discovered about that, and what was the reception of those players?
Yeah, just discussing it with the team, talking around the locker room with a lot of guys. Ultimately, people just drawn into it, understand the importance of it. Also, just looking at it from a standpoint of, every life is precious. Ultimately, somebody life being taken for whatever reason is not something you want to see happen. A few guys talk about, just upbringing in some of their areas and how it may not have been a nice environment or the community was a rough area, but have an opportunity now to use their platform to not only speak about something that's going on not solely in this city but around the country as well. Guys were really receptive of it.
We'll take 2 more for Anthony. Go ahead, Zach, and then Bo.
Anthony, you spoke about how the team rebounded from 2-5, but that week, what do you recall about the flight back from Vegas, about Nick's speech, about planting roots, basically what that week was like when you were 2-5?
Yeah, it was just about, continuing to work, continuing to believe, which, I don't think anybody wavered. We take a look around the locker room, understand the talent that we have, understand some of the experience that we have at different positions, and then just continuing to believe in the coaching staff and coming together, staying together, and just going in with the attitude of, from a player standpoint and coaching standpoint, we're all in it together. We're all going to come in, make our best efforts to, find out what we need to do to win, and then focus in on it and then just get to work.
Go ahead, Bo.
Anthony, I just wanted your reaction to Ron Rivera saying there should have been a penalty on that play.
Didn't even really cross my mind, honestly. For me, it was just, reading the route, committing to undercutting the route, looking to make a play. Had the confidence and felt like I was in great position where if he placed the ball where it was catchable for the receiver, I'd have the opportunity and to either break it up or intercept it. Seeing the ball sail high, I didn't think anything that I did or the position that I had affected his ability to catch the ball, and that was just kind of it. But, obviously if you're on the other side, you hope that you can kind of have a play that might extend it. But that's kind of all I have to really say about that.
You're making all these tackles. I think you have 124 of them. Alex, I think, has 130. Do you guys talk about that and, leading the team in tackles, any kind of friendly wager? Or do you go back and forth with that? And what would it mean for you to, surpass him and be the team's leader in tackles this season?
At the end of the day, Alex and I, we always keep it pretty light, so we're always joking with each other about it and things like that. But the biggest thing that we care about is how the defense is playing and how the team's playing. We just want to do our job to help the team win. And I do notice that every time I'm making a tackle, Alex is right there too. So I think just being in the middle of the defense, we want to do a good job of getting to the ball on every snap, and in turn that helps everyone else out and lets them do their job a little bit easier. So we just want to, do our job to the best of our ability. And, he's been joking with me about that since the start of the year. So I'm sure that'll keep going.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Mike.
Hey, TJ, what memories do you have of the week when you guys were 2-5 between the flight back from Vegas, Nick's speech about planting roots, everything that went into that week?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think the thing that Coach Sirianni's done so well is keeping the messages, the same. There's never been a panic, and there's never been, even when we were down at our worst, there's never been a time to where anyone's freaking out or, obviously after the loss, there's a lot of disappointment and people are frustrated with, how we're playing and things like that. But, our process has stayed the same throughout this entire time, whether we're winning or losing. So I think from that standpoint, it's been honestly really cool to see all those things that we've been doing and focusing on throughout each week. Those things kind of come into fruition, and now we're seeing success from all those things. So all the roots and all the talks and things that we've had in the past, all those things that we doubled down on are really helping us right now. So it's awesome to see.
Go ahead, Mike, and then Tim.
Hey, TJ, how did you follow the games on Sunday after the win, and how did you find out that you guys made the playoffs? Were you asleep by then? What was the situation Sunday night, and then what was your reaction when this game was moved to Saturday?
After the game, you just got so much going through your head, and it's hard to fall asleep. So I was up for that game and watched 3/4 of it. My girlfriend's family's from Green Bay, so they're big Pack fans and things like that. But I knew some of the scenarios and something like that we needed some things to happen, and kind of just waited to see what happened after that game to see where we fell, and to finally to see that we clinched a playoff berth is big time. Something that one of our goals on the year is to get into the playoffs and to have a chance. So to obviously just everything that goes into that from where we started to where we're at now, it feels great. But we know that this is just a start, and we want to keep building on what we're doing. And in terms of the game on Saturday, it kind of it is what it is. Got to bump our process up a week, so we kind of kick-started things in the week a little earlier, getting in the game plan a little bit earlier just to make sure we're prepared to go on Saturday. But like I said, man, the process doesn't change, so it was pretty easy to just kind of jump right back in.
Go ahead, Tim, and then Dave.
Hey, TJ, to follow up on Zach's question, after that 2-5 start and Nick's speech, he was under a lot of fire publicly. I'm sure you guys heard some of that. What was the response in the team kind of to that public criticism of your head coach?
Yeah, Coach has been very upfront with us just in terms of he doesn't really care, what people think about him in terms of that. He wants us to be at our best, and he wants us to understand what he's trying to say. And I think right away, as soon as he kind of gave his message, we knew what he was talking about. Is really just doubling down on what we were doing and making sure that we're not losing any faith in the details of what we're doing in the process of how we're doing it. So, at the end of the day, people are going to want to say what they want to say about what you're saying in the media and things like that. But the response he got from the team, I think, is what he really wanted. And ever since then, guys have understood what he's saying, and we've moved in the right direction. So, I think it went well. You guys take it how you want to take it, but it went good.
We'll go to Dave and then Josh.
Hey, TJ, how has communication been with Jonathan Gannon this year in terms of that player-coach relationship, and is there a back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, each week he comes in and he's got lists of things he wants to get done for the week in terms of game plan and scheme and how each room kind of fits into what we're doing that week. I think the biggest thing that he does again is kind of from the start to the finish of the week, he's laying out exactly why we're doing things and how we're doing them, so that there's no question about what guys are supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it. But just in terms of the relationship, he's open with anyone on the team. You see people just having conversations with him who aren't on defense, and I think when you have a guy like that who you can openly communicate with and tell him your thoughts about kind of how you're feeling about the game plan or how you want to play certain things, it goes a long way because you know exactly what he wants, and in your head you can label it or kind of learn it exactly how you're supposed to. And I think that's been big. And really, as a coaching staff as a whole, you sense that in terms of just that open line of communication of saying how you feel about something, but also knowing that what the coach wants to get done, it needs to get done. So it's been really good this year.
Okay, we'll take one more for TJ. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, TJ, watching the Monday Night Football game last night and seeing TJ Watt in the backfield so often reminded me of, you training with him in the offseason. I'm wondering, what were any specific takeaways, I guess, from your training this past offseason that prepared you for the amount of workload that you've stepped into, and just any correlation from, training back then to now?
Yeah, our offseason training is a serious program, man, and it's awesome to be able to go in there with them and truly see how they work and what they're focusing on, what they're working on, and every day it was me, TJ, JJ, Zach Bond, just guys from around the area, and we're just trying to beat each other every day, get better every single day, and the workload that we put on our body and the way that we manage. How much we're doing and how often we're doing it, I think is how you see success throughout the year and able to sustain that. But there's I give all the props to my trainer back home, Brad at Next Level in Wisconsin, and he's done such a good job with us, just making sure that we're ready. And TJ Watt he's a freak himself, so just seeing him out there running around making plays, is something that he's been doing for a long time. So I don't see that ever stopping. At all, but I know I'll be back in the offseason with him trying to catch him, so it'll be good.
Appreciate it. One last follow-up. When you guys are in the gym together, the trainer, does he call you guys both TJ, or you guys got separate nicknames for each other?
I don't know. He's got some random nicknames for us. You never really know who he's talking to at times, but I won't call TJ that. I'll call him his real name just because I'm TJ in that weight room. So we got to make sure we got the standard going in there.